Welcome back. We're at the 2024 Mid-Atlantic Major here in Atlantic City. I am here in the booth with Nicole. Nicole, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Nicole. I am a coach for a D2 squad called New England Invasion, and so I thought I'd join Falby in looking at semi-pro and getting some more looks on the layout.
She's being modest. She's definitely one of the coaches in New England.
You can kick me out if you'd like. Oh, it looks like Jen Folk's coming in the booth. She's kicking at Mount Falby.
Jen Folk is an unstoppable force of nature. I'm getting bounced from the booth.
She's out of here. Here she is. Girl power, babe.
All right, this is officially the Jen Folk and Nicole show.
Yep. Okay, no one else can come in here. It's officially ours. I'm going to skip my next match. We'll just hang here all day.
All right, so I don't know what I missed, but...
We've got Noobies and Nasty. We've got, looks like Noobies on the left side and Nasty on the right.
Perfect.
It's really quiet on this field right now. It looks like everybody's kind of trying to read and react, but they got to put the pieces together.
Noobies is one of those teams that has been kind of at the top of semi-pro for a while and been working towards that pro spot for a minute. I think they've been around the third or fourth in the semi-pro season rankings, so I think that they're definitely...
they're almost due, it feels like.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's one of those things where, of course, last year... For those of you, sorry, I just ran over here. Now I'm out of breath.
You were sprinting. Don't worry.
I was sprinting, y'all. I had to get back. You know, last year with the powerhouse semi-pro teams that were Blast Camp and Paintball Fit, who are both now in the pro division, Noobies was always right there knocking at the door. And I think this could, you know, this year is one that they definitely are looking forward to taking. And I think, you know, they're looking to come out strong here.
Absolutely. And they're a very smart, methodical team. I really like the pace that they drive for themselves. They just really control a match very well. It's always at their tempo.
Yep, looks like we got...
We're going to have a snake exchange here.
Yep.
Yep.
So Nasty's going to win that one.
Oh, he made I didn't even notice he made it. Good for him.
Yep, so it looks like we got Cunningham here and the 50 snake.
Yep.
Newbies tried to do a little desperation move out, stop the bleeding, and incidentally
Unsuccessful.
caused more bleeding.
Yeah.
All right, so Nasty
is going to take that point.
All right, so next up we're going to have RC Seadogs from Canada on the left.
Denver Altitude on the right.
And Denver Altitude, formerly called Colorado Blitz, for those of you guys who are familiar with the...
Oh, okay, name change.
Yep, they did a little name change. They had been Colorado Blitz for a while, but they decided to bring back the legendary Denver Altitude name this year. So, because Denver Altitude was a legendary team out of Colorado for a while. I know that a lot of current pro players used to play in that camp. Nick Sloviak played with them, and Daniel Camp from the Hurricanes played with Denver Altitude. So it's definitely a legendary name.
I do love when an OG name comes back. We did the same thing. We brought New England Invasion back. It's been years. Exactly. We brought the name back, and I was like, we got to bring back the originals.
Exactly. All right. So
looks like Altitude's going to try to make it into that Manny W on the Snake Way.
So 5 alive for both teams. Oh, first body to drop is going to be the Dorito corner for the Seadogs.
I'm seeing a lot of doubling up of this Mayan Temple, and I'm like shocked by that.
Right. Well, it's kind of tricky because and I was during the last match I was talking to Bart about how this is a kind of an unconventional layout in the sense that typically in a paintball breakout you think of pocket or staying kind of centralized there in the center is the safe route, but on this layout that center is kind of open, so it's not necessarily always safe to do that.
Exactly.
And it's definitely a different type of layout. Bodies dropping everywhere here.
Yeah.
I think 2 dead for Seadogs, and
looks like Altitude's trying to put. We got one in the Snake 1, and we've got one in that Mini W as well.
And a Dorito 1 as well. I think it might be a 3-on-3 here. So 2 bodies in the Snake side for both teams. And looks like a Dorito body for, so they're kind of almost mirrored. So Seadogs is going to have the Dorito 2. Denver's going to have the Dorito 1. Both teams mirrored up here, Snake 2 to Snake 2. Seadogs are going to make the move into the Snake 50 here. Looking for that inside kill on the Dorito. Is he going to get it?
I don't know. Nope. Oh, now he's going to jump on the inside. Here we go.
Look for some freebies. I think that's Dylan Rosardo here.
The problem is when he starts coming in, the Snake 2 on this side is going to see him. So if he just doesn't wrap while this gun's looking his way, he may be safe.
All right, so looks like we got Sammy Berry here in the Snake 2. We've got Will Cunane in the Dorito 1. And I'm trying to see who this other body is.
I believe that's a Seadog player.
For the Seadogs, we've got, there's 2 Rosardos. I'm trying to give some people some credit here.
I know. You want to. You're like, I want to give it to you. And
I think these are the Rosardo brothers. I think that's Clayton here in the Snake 50. Dylan, his brother, behind him in the Snake corner for for Seadogs. Denver Altitude is going to push into the Dorito 2.
Yep.
Trying to figure out who's the body back here for
Oh, I couldn't even tell you. I didn't bring my glasses.
So I'm not going to lie. I know a lot of players on this Denver team, so I'm going to try to use names as much as I can. Looks like Will for Denver is going to take the walk out of that Dorito 2. However, the Dorito player for Seadogs is also taking a walk.
Yeah.
I think that's Welts, if I remember correctly.
Oh, we're getting a little.
Oh, interesting play here.
Oh, we're
So
checking the pin out. Okay.
Clayton is going to bump backwards from the Snake 50 into the pin.
Now,
and
I
then
can't
make his
tell
way
if this
back
is methodical or like desperation.
Yeah, well, it's a 2-on-2. And
Right.
both teams have players here in the Snake. So it's an
Right.
interesting situation.
I kind of wish the Seadog back guy would kind of join the party.
But yeah, clock in back there.
Join
no,
in.
I mean Clayton is Clayton here in the 50 Snake is a very, very crafty player. However,
Right.
it looks
And
like
it looks
he
like
might
Alf's
be
going to come in
and
and
we're
lead
gonna have a
straight
little
out.
trade.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That was Dylan White there that made the move. So we got a 1-on-1 here. We got Sammy Barry. Oh, there's another player.
There's another. We missed him.
Holy cow.
Oh,
Okay.
cannoli. Okay.
Sorry, guys. We have a kind of a limited view. It's a 2-on-1 situation here for
Yeah,
Denver.
we're both pretty short trying to see this whole field.
Yeah, I know. That's how short people problems. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
All right, so let's see if Denver can close out this 2-on-1.
I mean, they should, realistically.
Absolutely.
Anytime you're in a 2-on-1, you
right.
should be closing that out. And they do.
Glad we found that other body there.
Wow. You know what? They were just so tucked in. Good for you.
Yep.
Good for you. If you can play that tight and, like, we can't even see you, God bless.
All right, so just to give some context, Seadogs took second in Vegas to leverage in the finals. So, you know, they've proven that they're here to party. And Denver's kind of had a slow start this year, but the Blitz organization is not, you know, unfamiliar with winning. So I think they're definitely hungry to prove themselves. I know they did a little bit of a rebuild. One of my teammates moved from North Carolina to Denver and is playing with Denver Altitude now. Shout out to Will Cunane, formerly of my personal team Underground out of North Carolina. So got to root for my boy here.
I was going to say, so you have a favorite is what you're telling
well,
me.
yeah. I mean, you know, I'm always going to root
You're
for my.
cheer on the homies.
Listen,
I get it.
He was the guy that I played alongside for the first, you know, the whole 5 years that I've been playing.
Right.
So of course, you know, I'm gonna root for him, but I'll keep it
Absolutely.
unbiased here
Right,
for sure.
right.
All right, Nasty's gonna drop one out of that back center.
Looks like
little
Noobies start off with
Aztec.
all 5. Oh, as I say that, nope, we're good. That's a media
Okay,
guy. We got all
so-
5 for Noobies as well.
5 alive for Noobies, 4 alive for Nasty. Nasty does not really have any wide Dorito body, but they do have the center presence
Right,
here.
and they do take a lot of ground because they are in the snake and that center, while Noobies is still kind of hanging back. We've got a decan, both decans, and then that small mine.
Yep, and Nasty's up 1-0. However, there is 12 minutes on the clock, so you
Plenty
know
of
it's not one of
time.
those situations where you can go up one.
Oh, it
and,
looks like Noobies lose a guy going into the snake.
and it looks like their Dorito
They're
player's
about
also
to. Oh,
getting
he's going to
checked.
check. Yep. Oh, he's going to deep check.
Oof.
He's looking.
Yeah, we got the 50
Oh.
snake here for Nasty
And
hunting.
we are clean in that Dorito.
Is it a 4? Okay, so it's a 4-on-4 because Noobies was able to fill out here to the snake side corner, which allows them to kind of slow the roll here of the 50 snakes.
Right,
so.
and that center tower for Noobies is trying to hold this lane and keep the snake, but, I mean, honestly, the snake's in a good spot where he's not catching that paint unless it bounces in.
Well, that's what's my next comment was, the more bunkers that they keep adding, the more
more
bounce
bounces that
shots
are
you're going to
possible.
find. So,
Yep.
yeah, for those of you at home that are not super familiar with paintball or, the way that the NXL works now, we did add a bunch of snake beams this year, and, one strategy people like to use is bounce shot. So where you're actively shooting at a bunker that no one is necessarily in to try to bounce it off that bunker into a bunker where a player is actually playing that you cannot see. So that is called a bounce shot, and sometimes teams will spend, half a day, all day working on these bounce shots because they can be super effective if done properly. So, that's one of the things about when you've got so many bunkers on the field.
And anytime you got those little pins, there's just a bounce shot.
Yeah, look how caked
money.
they are
Yeah,
with the
literally.
paint.
Yep. Anytime I see anybody in that center brick, I'm like, you better be hitting those bounce shots. That is an easy bounce. Come on now. It's almost like pinball.
Earlier we had this center tower here for the team on the left was pounding off his own snake too to try to shoot it into the 50 snake here, and it was just blasting us
going.
with paint.
Oh gosh.
So.
I know, I just had that happen. They're like, all right, you're on air. And next thing I got blasted with paint. I was like, no, we're not.
Yep. All right, so this one's kind of slowed down. It's been, how is it? You tell me. I mean, I know you're coaching your own team, so have you guys seen fast points, slow points? Like, what's the vibe over there?
So divisional field right now, some of the fields are wicked early because there were a bunch of mercies in the morning. Our field is actually 2 hours behind.
Oh, wow.
Yes, 2 hours behind.
Holy cow.
So it's a mix right now of, kind of depending on the team matchup, I want to say. Like, I think at this point we are all really comfortable with each other. We know each other well. So it's really just, who's going to set the tempo and how they're going to set it.
And this is a great example of that because it kind of seemed like, off the box, Nasty was setting the tempo, so to speak. They took the spots. They
took the ground.
They had
were
the
aggressive
advantage,
about
but
it.
That's how fast things can change on this layout,
Absolutely.
Noobies remained calm, kept their composure, and slowly took them out one by one. But, and it's one of those things where, when you think about a schedule, every time that you score a point, you have that 2-minute break time. So in reality, you think, okay, a fast layout would equal fast matches, but it's really not.
Yeah, no.
The fastest way to get to a match is for it to all be, the straight 12, 15 minutes, whatever the division.
Exactly. Yeah, our first match was super long. We tied up 5-5. Yeah, it was a very long match. I was like, okay, are we going to be done yet?
Precisely. Yep. So it looks like I'm gonna try to throw out some names here.
All right,
so
let's
we
hear
got
it, John.
CJ Shamber, formerly of Boom, out of the Midwest. It looks like we got Michael Scordo, Kyle Weaver, I think, and then my homie Will Coonane and Sammy Berry going to go back into the Snake for Denver again. It looks like for Seadogs we're going to have, I believe, they walked by me too fast.
Yep, they were all speed walking.
And I think they have a much larger roster. I believe they have 11 players.
Oh,
I think Denver's running with like 6 or 7.
Yeah,
so.
right. And the Seadogs are going to make that snake one off the break, which I think is really important. I think the snake is really detrimental to kind of controlling a point here.
For sure. And it looks like Denver takes the snake corner off the break.
Oh,
First
and the
body to
Seadogs
drop.
lose a tower on that Dorito side. And they've
Ref
got to fill
coming
that
in.
snake
Oof.
corner, yeah.
Ref coming in to check the back Dorito player for Seadogs. Is he clean? Looks like he's clean.
Yeah, looks like it.
Yep, and he's going to make himself a move.
Yeah, might as well.
So we got a 5-on-4 advantage here for Denver.
I'm really liking the can play. Usually, statistically, a can is only good for 75% of the time, and as you stay longer, it just decreases as time goes. But I think a lot of people are surviving in these cans longer than that stat, which I think is very impressive.
For sure. It looks like a body did actually drop off Dorito side for Denver, so it's going to be a 4-on-4. We missed that, but I see Scordo taking the walk. The long, slow, roundabout walk.
Yeah. It looks like the snake is asking for a check. But he's out, unfortunately.
Yep, so Denver had it looks like they had the body advantage there in a 5-on-4, and unfortunately.
Oh, and they lose the snake corner off the fill. It was very aggressive fast fill. I'll give him props to that.
Yep, so we're looking at a 2-on-4 here for Denver.
Yep, it looks like the Seadogs are going to finally take advantage and start slow crawling through the snake. Very low. Can't even see him.
Right? We can't even see
him.
him.
Boy.
That's
there's
how you
14
do it. Snake beams, you know,
yeah.
it's like
use advantage to
we're
all
doing
of
the
them.
best we can here. All right. Let's see who we got here. I want to say this is Campbell here in the 50 snake
That's
for
what
Seadogs.
it looks like, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, but the snake corner is going to die for Seadogs. So we are in a 2-on-3 situation. However, Campbell, I believe, just caught – he did. He just caught the Dorito corner for Denver. So it should be a 3-on-1, and now Seadogs
Yeah, he's crawling back. He's going to send that center brick guy up there.
That's exactly what he did. Seadogs are now in Denver's center brick.
Yep, there it is.
They should be able to pull this one together here.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no excuse. Oh. Yeah, there it is. So
a trade, though.
Yeah.
Hey, got himself a trade.
There you go.
So Seadogs are going to win that one with 2 bodies alive.
And this is how I like it. I like me some close matches. I like the entertainment. I like to see the back and forth.
Yep. I agree. All right, looks like this is going to be Smith here. Waiting for Campbell to join him here at the box.
A little tea party, if you will.
Yeah. So for anybody who's unfamiliar or just curious, a lot of times, you know, depending on the situation on the field in terms of if you're up points or you know, you want to burn some clock, you don't actually have to hit the buzzer. You can wait for the other team to concede. In this situation, Denver was up, so Seadogs were going to have to hit the buzzer because in that situation you're not going to towel. You know, you're not going to concede the point if you're Denver. But you know, if you are up point, you can kind of sit and burn some clock and force the other team to, you know, concede the point. It's all part of the strategy.
Right. And there's so much strategy to it. I mean, you could sit there for minutes. I've seen teams just chill, and the other team is too much of a big of an ego to give into it. So they're like, nope, I'm going to wait. And it's like, no, take your clock back, own your clock. You need that time.
Absolutely. I think I leaned more towards I'm a heavy toweler.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to play more points most of the time.
Right.
You know, and in this situation, like I said, Denver's running with 6 or 7. So,
right.
like, you know, if you have a team full of 11 players like Seadogs, you might have enough bodies to where, you know, you want to play a lot of points.
Exactly.
It just depends on the situation. You know, there's no real limit in terms of how few players you can have other than 5. So it's totally up to you how many players you run on your roster.
So looks like we've got Nasty on the right side, and they've got a ref coming in, checking out center tower, and they are in the snake
and
one.
And a ref checking out Noobies.
Oh, yeah, look at this. The refs are all over the place now.
So Noobies are going to lose their snake corner, so it's going to be a 5-on-4 advantage for Nasty.
Yeah, Nasty's going to make their way into the snake 2 as well.
I tell you what, I've seen a lot, not only from these games that I've been commentating, but this morning in the WNXL game, there were a lot of people getting bounced and a lot of people getting checked, you know, right after the break. And you're like, I think I should have.
Yeah, there has been a lot of, I mean, you know what? I like the activity, though. I like me a solid ref and crew is going to go in, and even if, you know, you're clean as a whistle, I'm cool with it. I'd rather you check and then, you know, rather safe than sorry.
Absolutely. So it looks like 2 bodies have dropped for Noobies.
Yeah, it looks like this Snake 50 is going to, he's going to zone in on that center tower and take him out. And Nasty's actually got someone on the outside of the snake and the inside.
This is a funny situation.
I love this.
So obviously, you know, we've been calling this thing here the highway. We've been calling it the passing lane, if you will. But a lot of times, by the time that you have the freedom to get into this little outer lane, chances are you're high on bodies. You have the body count, right? So a lot of times we're seeing people crawl the whole way.
Right, and then
they get there, and then their team has taken
the point,
out everybody.
and they're like, are you kidding?
Yep. And so you crawl all the way to the end, and the team towels. So, Nasty has crawled his way.
All the way down.
All the way down to
and he's made an impact, though. So it's good that, you know, all that effort did pay off.
Sometimes
we'll give it to him.
Yeah. I believe that. I'm trying to see who all these players are.
We need bigger last names on your jerseys. I say it all the time locally when we commentate. If you want the credit, I need to see your name.
Yep.
Like,
and make it
big,
not,
big.
like, make it a good, like, white or whatever.
Yeah, make it a really bright
color.
Make it, you know, as big as possible. Oh, a nice little paint on the face.
Yep.
Because, you know, we want to give credit and shout out to people, but we don't know who you are.
Yeah, and a lot of times people wear other people's jerseys or what
I've seen that
you
too,
know?
and then people are like, that's not me. And it's like, well, your jersey says otherwise, sir. Thank you very much.
I do try to, let's see, I think that's Cunningham, yep. You know, I wanted to say it was Cunningham, but I didn't want to be wrong. So, you know, it's one of those things where you do the best you can. I really do when I'm commentating. I try to give people credit as much as I can. I try to learn people's body language and try to differentiate who's who.
Right,
you know?
yep. Yeah, and you look at, like, headgear and stuff, and you try to figure out, okay, like, you know, that's so-and-so. Sometimes you have people that are siblings, same last name, and you're
exactly
like, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Well, let's see. Okay, so fun fact for those at home. My last name is Folk, and I play alongside my husband, whose last name is also Folk. We are also just about the same height.
Yes,
so
you guys are.
You
were like us. We were also the same height.
Yeah, and so a lot of times, you know, when we're playing, people are like, you know, and I try to cover up my hair, you know, where people can't tell. So I try to get us confused sometimes, but yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the classic tan beanie, Jen. No one can say that's not Jen Folk. Let's be real. I see that beanie, and I'm like, oh, there's Jen.
Yep. And you know, when I play with Underground with my home team, I try not to do the brown beanie because I don't want to be identified. So I try to run the the black one. All right. So it looks like 5-on-5 breakout here. Tie game 1-1 with 8 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock. Plenty of game time left.
Oh, and yep, see this double in? Yeah, this double up. They lost a body in it. I'm not sure how effective it is.
It's a tough situation.
I haven't seen it divisionally. This is the first time I'm seeing it, actually.
Yeah. I've seen it, but only very temporarily.
Right.
Like normally the first guy in there comes filling out to the snake side.
Because it just gets so small with the two of you in there at some point. You know, as the time's ticking, you're like, okay, I got to get going.
Okay, so it looks like Seadogs are already in the Dorito 50.
Lovely.
As well as the snake 2 here. Campbell's back in there. Okay, big fill out for Denver. They do take the snake corner. He is receiving a lot of pressure here from the snake 2, though.
Yeah, it looks like this Dorito 50 is waiting on something. I'm not really sure what the communication is or what he's waiting on. I kind of wish he would kind of wrap maybe and see if he can find a free kill.
Well, so Denver's in the Dorito 1, but if this fella thinks that, you know, they're in the Dorito 2, that could also be potentially, you know, why he's posted there. Because I believe Seadogs do have this center brick, and he has posted Dorito way on the Dorito player for Denver. So I think they're probably communicating about trying to figure out. Yep, so they're here in the center 50 brick on your screen on the left, as well as the Dorito 50. Seadogs are pressing, you know, the 50-yard line here across the field.
Yeah, they are. They're at the snake 50 as well. And I do really love this Dorito that they're using for the Seadogs to like kind of contain that snake way on this cross. I think it's really detrimental.
Yes, it is. I've seen that be very, very successful. Especially if you know that you own the snake as well. Because you're keeping them out of the snake.
Right, if you're in there and they keep
snake.
them out, like money.
Yep, so we've got Seadogs up 5 on.
Looks like Altitude just lost one on the D side.
Yep. You also love to see this. So I believe this is, I believe Seadogs call him Boomer here in the outer snake. He's typically a back player, and because of this layout, sometimes your back players end up in this outer snake because they're supporting their front snake.
They have to support their front guy.
And seeing, you kind of see that thing where you're like, oh, I got to do it. I got to do it. So shout out to the Seadogs player there for getting in the outer snake. And
a lot of my back guys are taller, too, so when I do see them in the snake, I'm in tears because I'm just laughing so hard to see them, kind of slithering around. And then, next thing you know, we're hitting the buzzer, and I'm like, oh, sorry, but thank you for all of your hard work.
No kidding.
And then I know last event, I took a Dorito side guy off completely and put him on the snake side. I was like, you're going to play snake.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
He was like, what do you mean? And I was like, you're fast.
What is that?
It'll be perfect. You'll love it.
Oh, that's funny. All right, so Nasty's up 2-1 with 7 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock.
Yep, it looks like Noobies are going to start with 5 bodies alive.
All right, so first body to drop is going to be from Nasty's kind of back center-ish area, while
you got Noobies going all the way to the snake 50.
However, Noobies do lose a support out of the back, so it's going to be another body dropping for Nasty, so it's a 4-on-3 advantage here for Noobies.
Yep. And
they do have the advantage. 4-on-2 because another body has now dropped off the Dorito side for Nasty. So I believe there are only 2 bodies left for Nasty, the Snake Insert Mini W and the Snake Side Aztec in the back.
And I'm going to assume that Noobies don't know the count because instead of kind of moving forward, their D guy went to the corner instead.
And I will say that the only kind of, and I was saying this on the last match, is, as they add more and more bunkers, specifically for our Dorito players, when you're looking crossfield, you can't always see people walk out. So, in that guy's defense, look at all these wedges here in the middle. He might not have seen the people exit, off the snake side, especially if it's their pit side, right?
It looks like Nasty's actually going to get a minor penalty in the snake corner.
So that'll be it for them. Yep, so Noobies should be able to close this one up here.
6:34 on the clock.
I'm just glad we have a breeze. I keep saying that, but I really appreciate the breeze.
Oh, I'm very grateful for the breeze. Yeah, because I think yesterday was supposed to be the lowest temp of the weekend. It was 81. It was the lowest we got.
I think Sunday is going to be the warmest.
Yes, today is a whopping 86 degrees. Yep. And if you don't know, I'm actually from Boston, so this type of heat is not good for me.
Right.
I don't do well in it. So it's been a sweater.
Well, here's the thing. I'm from the South. I'm from North Carolina, as you can tell probably by my accent, and it's very, very humid there, and then we don't have this type of breeze. So I'm chalking it up as a win right now because we practiced down there last weekend, and it was like 92 degrees, and at that point I was just grateful not to be practicing in Florida.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I was laughing the other day when we left because Wednesday Mass was reporting it was going to be like 101. And I was like, where did that come from?
There's definitely a heat wave happening right now because the last 2 years this Mid-Atlantic Open event has been held at in Royersford, Pennsylvania, outside of Philly, and it's a great venue. But we did move to Atlantic City this year, and I was checking the weather for Royersford. 95, 96. So I'm just happy that we're over here by the water because I think it has been our saving grace.
Yes,
to be honest.
I will accept this over the 95. Catch me a cup and I will be like dying under a paint truck somewhere.
Yeah, cup is no joke.
Yeah, cup's rough. So it looks like we've got the Seadogs on the right, Altitude on the left, and we're going to have a 2-1. Seadogs are up right now. All right, here we go.
All right, so we're going to send Campbell back into Snake 1 and take the Dorito corner. It looks like Denver is going to go to the center 50 brick and lock down the Dorito side.
Yep, Seadogs has got the back 3 in that center tower and then a Snake 1. And this guy's going to bump into the Snake with him as well.
All right, 5-on-5 break.
Yeah. That's what we like to see.
Yeah,
I mean,
was
as a
gonna say.
coach, I don't like to see it, right? I don't want to
You
see
want
that.
the kills off
But
break.
as a commentator, I love to see
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. It's been making for, more, not necessarily interesting games, but, teams that are getting a kill or two off the break, it seems like it's leading, obviously, to the quicker points. But
Absolutely.
But as you can see, even just within this first couple seconds of this point, well, as I say that, a body comes off for Seadogs. However, what I was going to say was, at a certain point, Seadogs are up 2-1 here with 6 minutes on the clock. So it's not necessarily you want to immediately go into, like, a truly defensive posture. So, like, right on the break, you're seeing those secondary moves from Seadogs, keeping themselves on their toes.
We were just discussing defensive, and me and Matt Falby were discussing, the best defense is probably offense. We were just discussing how, a hold play on this layout just isn't going to work out. I unfortunately had done one in our match, and now it's just like, yep, nope, this is not going to work for us.
Well, and it goes back to the number of bunkers, we're adding more bunkers. It's like the gaps get smaller, right? So, when you go into a defensive posture and you're trying to hold these gaps, if you stop pulling your trigger for a split second, they're the gaps. So it's not necessarily, you kind of have to take a little ground, find the best, place to position yourself.
For you, yeah.
So in the last event in Texas, you kind of, to hold, you almost wanted to take snake off break.
Absolutely.
Remember? Because you could hold the wire, slow down the snake. So it's not always, super pocket, even when you're up. And I think this is an example of you kind of have to keep.
I do think when people think of holds, they think of pockets. I'm like, no, it's not always like that.
Yeah.
You have like, 2 anchor guys and you've got a couple, kind of standard guys going in, but you still want to take those risks and get some action in.
Absolutely. And typically, the way the layouts have been lately, thanks to Jays and Trojan, there's, you are gaining that advantage by getting that body out wide, off the break because you're in a considerably better position to hold it. I think they want to see the action, so they're kind of encouraging folks to
absolutely
to take those risks.
So I'm unsure of so we've got a Seadog and a snake, and I'm unsure of what's holding him up from just kind of getting down there and catching the 50. I can't see what's going on. Oh, actually, I see him. He's in this.
Yeah, but he's in the Denver player. They do have a back left.
Okay,
sorry
there
guys, we are blacked out by the refs here.
Yeah,
we're doing our best to see.
I'm only 5'2". I don't know about Jen.
I'm 5'3".
Okay,
so
Jen's a little taller than I am, but
team
we'd have to really combine ourselves to kind of see all this stuff.
Maybe if I get on your shoulders.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've been to the gym for a lot, so we can just kind of, we'll shoulder it up.
Yep, so it is going to be that, back left bunker for Denver that's kind of slowing up the snake. Right. And that's the importance. I genuinely think, Nicole, that is the most important bunker on the field.
Right.
Is that snake corner Aztec.
You do?
Yes, I love it. I think that bunker might be the most important bunker on the field.
Interesting.
In the sense that if you don't have it, it's bad. And if you can fill it, it's good. So it's sometimes, it can be that simple. And I'm not saying that I'm definitively right or anything, by any means.
I'm interested because for me, for my opinion, I was thinking, this like center tower is probably a fundamental bunker for me as well. 100%. It's been the one. I have to have it every time.
And it's one that's hard to live
hear
in.
You have a different, opinion.
Well, to your point, feeding into your concept here is that's also like the person that I want to get off the field first is that center tower.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
I totally, and it's probably because I played the Dorito side, and typically that center player is
shooting D-way. Yep, absolutely.
But however, I have been in a position, on this layout where I am on the Dorito side, I lose my snake side, and because we don't have that back snake corner, they're able to filter down the snake. So it kind of, I've played on both ends of our conversation here, but I would agree. I think that, those are two very key bunkers. It looks like Campbell here for Seadogs is trying to get crafty here in the snake.
He's going to retreat back. I think he set a trap, and I love that. I love when that happens. I think, this center brick might think he's still at this 50, maybe, possibly. And we came back to the snake, too, which I've seen a lot of that, and I think it's a really great idea if it works out.
It's kind of slowed down here a bit.
I know. They're kind of cool, calm, and collect, which I do enjoy. I love when, we're not kind of getting all chaos and frenzy. That's when you start making dumb moves.
For sure, and I think Denver in the situation, they're in a 5-on-4. They're down by 1. There's coming down on 2 minutes on the clock, so they really do.
It looks like they did lose in Denver.
Well, I was going to say
the commentator curse,
right?
We say nice things and they start dying.
Well, they need this one, and it's a situation where, I think they were trying to put it together to make sure that they had the advantage. And just as I say that, they lose too quick, and now they're 3-on-5.
Okay, so now you have to not say anything good about them. That's what Falby taught me.
No, I'm kidding. No, that was a great, executed. I don't want to use the term hold, but the Seadogs players are clearly had their head on a swivel. Recognized the
close
advantage.
shot. Yeah, and, you know, these two Snake players are actually mirrored up, but the Seadogs are going to hit the 50.
And I believe he got taken out from the...
I'm going to say it's that
Dorito
Dorito.
side.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep, there it is. So the Dorito...
Yeah.
But he gets clipped. Wait, no.
Maybe
That's
not. He's going to check.
Dorito
Oh,
wedge
yeah, you're
player
out,
for
buddy.
Denver is going to get clipped out of there.
Unfortunate. Now it looks like they just have...
I think it's just the Dorito 1 left.
Correct.
For
Yeah, it
Denver,
looks like it.
with 3 Seadogs here. All right, so that's a tough situation for Denver.
Yeah, that's
I think,
hard.
You know, that's the one I think that they're gonna want back. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, they did the hard job. They got the first kill in a 5-on-5 breakout. You know, they got that first kill off the Dorito side, and I think it's a situation where, you know, you reflect on maybe what was or wasn't the right decision.
What
and
worked out? What did not.
we've
Yeah,
all been
accountability.
there.
Accountability.
Oh.
We say it all the time on my team. We do a drill where they have to say something negative that they did. They can't blame anybody else. It's just, you know, a mistake you made. And then 2 positives that the team did as a whole. Because they all hold each other accountable, and they just need to be like, yeah, this is where I'm at. So they all are on the same page. I think it's really important to get back in the pit and say, all right, I messed up here. How do I fix this? Who can help me fix this?
Absolutely. For sure. So that game's going to be, Denver will be down, what would that be, 3-1 now with, I think, a minute on the clock. So here on the other game, we have plenty of time. We got 6.5 minutes in a tie game, 2-2 with Noobies and Nasty. Nasty on your right. They're going to be the first ones to take the walk. So Nasty kind of went pocket. They went double in that little, back Aztec center tower. Snake insert, who's now going to move into the
now
snake.
you're right in. Yep.
However, Noobies do drop a body. So it should be a 4-on-4. And here we go. So Nasty recognizes that there's nobody truly
nobody
wide.
over there.
No. For Noobies.
No. Don't do. Okay, I was going to say,
he
do
said,
not
"Psych."
run it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
You know what? Genius, because he must have seen this guy coming in and was like, never mind.
Hey, I'd rather him recognize that and make that transition back than end up getting caught, in that spot.
Right. We've had some people who, like, peek their head up and like, oh, okay, I'll just trade here. And it's like, no, like, give yourself a chance at least.
Yep. And so just to add context for you guys, our Snake player here for Nasty jumped the beam into the highway here, saw the player fill out to this little snake outer mini W for Noobies, and instead of getting caught by him, he jumped the beam to go back over. And the reason I do think that that's a good strategy is because now this Noobies player has put him in a position in a bunker that's very hard to live in there.
Right.
So not a bad idea by this Nasty Snake player to hop back over. All right, so for Nasty, we've got the center tower, the Snake 50. I think there's a big move up the Dorito side by Noobies. I believe he's in the Dorito 2 now. That's what our 50 Snake here.
Yeah, I think that's
Nasty's
what he's
at.
fixing up on. I'm shocked this
Is it a
Noobies
2-on-2?
guy in the Snake is still surviving in there. That's a
know.
very interesting bunker to play. And
I think it's because
he's so far off it, too.
Yeah,
I don't think the tower can really.
Well, if the tower goes up to that center brick,
Right.
I believe he would get pinched out of there.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But I think they're concerned about keeping track of the Dorito player for Noobies, who
And they
has
just lost their
taken him out.
Snake for Nasty.
Yeah,
so
so
now,
that's a big point
Oh,
there.
and they lose their center tower as well. He went to go make a tactile retreat to the back, but he did not make it on the way.
I'd like to see who this is for Noobies coming in here on the Dorito side. That was a very clutch
Definitely,
point for-
key in their winning.
he pulled that one back from the Dorito side for sure.
Absolutely. Sometimes you just want to shout at
Is
them. Be like,
that
hey, show
Ryan
me.
Rodriguez? It is Ryan Rodriguez. All right, get a quick little plug for Mr. Ryan Rodriguez of the Noobies. His company is 33 Threads. They make goggle straps, woven, limited edition goggle straps, as well as some other soft goods. Shout out Ryan. He's a great dude. Love what he's doing with his company. And, support your friends, guys. 33 Threads. Look them up.
Heck yeah.
All right, so Seadogs in the driver's seat here, 3-1 with 1 minute on the clock. Let's see what Denver. This is the first match of the day for both of these folks, so it's not a situation where you might be thinking about margin, so to speak.
Yeah, you're already going to the paintball math. This is kind of setting the tone for the day for them.
And Denver's going to lose a body off the break, so it's going to be a 5-on-4. However, somebody getting a check here for Seadogs in the back.
And Denver's pushing. They're on that 2 Doritos and on that center brick.
So we got Will Cunane and Michael Scordo doing a little rope-a-dope over on the Dorito side, and they do produce a kill.
They've got 42
out of the back
on the clock
Dorito
as well.
side.
Oh, and they lose one going to the wedge.
Yeah, so Denver definitely not wanting to, give up entirely, doing what they can.
Yep, you got to die on your sword sometimes.
Absolutely. And I like the effort. Looks like they might. Let's see. We got 25 seconds. So if they can kind of close this up, we still have 3 bodies left here for Seadogs. We got the Dorito can, the center tower, And the infamous Snake Aztec in the back corner.
I can't. Jen loves,
all right,
Jen
so
loves
Denver
it.
loses their Snake 1 who filled in, and I wonder who shot him, Nicole. I think that might have been the Snake corner.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Snake?
kidding.
Was
Denver
it
has
you?
2 bodies left here in the
Yeah.
center. I don't think that we're going to be over there. It is.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep, and going back to Ryan Straps, you can see one here on your screen on Michael Scordo with a tan beanie with a little triangle logo. That is Ryan Rodriguez, ironically from Noobies on the other match that we're watching. But, yeah, he makes some woven straps, best in the game. You'll see him here on some of these Noobies players as well. Lots of cool designs, lots of cool colors. All right, so this game is going to be 3-2 Noobies with 4 minutes and 40 seconds.
And
Plenty
they're
of
gonna take
time.
a timeout, it seems like. Okay, so let me. Oh, Falby's right here. I gotta go back. My match is
All right, so
So unfortunately, Jen, you're going to lose me, and you have to
hey,
take Matt
does
back.
that mean I get Matt back?
You
Oh,
do get Matt
It's been
back.
such a good
Yeah.
time, Nicole.
I have to go to my other match, but I will be back
All
later.
right.
We can have a nice
Well, good
gal
luck
pal some
to
more.
you.
There you are, Phil.
And it's been a pleasure.
Thank you. All right, I'll be back, guys.
Welcome back, Matt.
Thank you for holding down the booth without me. I know
Hey,
it's
I love
rough.
it.
Without my firm guiding hand, keeping this whole organization
I'm
together.
just I'm gonna pitch a tent here, and I'll just
You're
I'll
gonna
just
live
hang
here?
out.
I'm sure ratings spiked the second I stepped
Hey,
out of the booth.
I hope so. Hey, listen, if you guys have enjoyed Jen Folk on the commentator's booth, write your senator, and by senator
Yeah,
I mean
yeah.
Matt Falbate. No,
Sure,
I'm kidding.
Sure.
NXL Paintball. Write your senator. Let him know.
I'm utterly corruptible, too, as a public official. Let me be clear.
Right.
All right, Newbies Nasty, tight fight, right? 3-2?
3-2.
Yeah.
Yep. Newbies are up 3-2 with 4 minutes and 39 seconds.
I was just talking with the Newbies alumni, and I got to say I was tagging them as one of the teams that has a very good chance of taking this whole thing this year.
Absolutely. That's kind of what I was saying with Nicole when I first got in here was, last year in the semi-pro, battle that we
Scrum.
had at the top, we had Paintball Fit and Blast Camp both
Yep.
in semi-pro. And Newbies was always there. They
Yep.
were, I think they got 3, if I remember correctly, they got 3 third places last year. And the only reason I know that is because I also got that many third places in my division last year with Underground. But yeah, so I totally feel their pain. And I think, with both of those teams, Blast Camp and Paintball Fit having moved up to pro, I think Newbies really saw an opportunity to kind of be the top team. And of course, we've had a lot of really good teams step in. Leverage stepped in and won the first event. TJ Bastard's WCPPL team stepped in, and they
Royal City Seadogs.
Yes, exactly. Stepped in and have been doing really well. So Newbies has definitely had New York Wrecking Crew coming up from winning Division II, winning the Texas event in semi-pro. So there's definitely some new contenders. But Newbies has proven themselves year after year as a contender, and I think it's one of those things where they're really doing what they can to prove that they belong at the top here. And as I say that, they do take the walk from the Dorito side. Sort of be a 5-on-4 advantage for Nasty.
Nasty came out strong and started moving upfield real fast, up to the Snake 50 already. Newbies probably trying to kill the clock at this point. Although with four minutes, well, that's more than enough time, though. I don't think they can go into full clock killing mode yet. I'm always an advocate of if you have to make a choice between killing clock or attack, go attack.
Right.
The teams are more practiced at it.
And certainly it depends on, how many points you're up. Because
Sure.
on a layout like this, 1 point, quite frankly, is not enough to kind of avoid continuing to go on the attack in that sense. So, I think when you get a 3-point, a 3-point lead, you can kind of flirt with the idea of maybe burning some clock or going with a little bit more of a conservative play. But, the way things have been working out here, even with a 2-point lead, we've seen some really quick points.
Newbies bleeding players off the field now, and they're going to go ahead and towel out. They kept trying to refill outside to this snake corner. It just was not working.
Yep, and I was telling Nicole, it's one of the situations where, if you lose your snake side, that, in my opinion, that back corner snake Aztec is a must. So it's almost one of those things where if you make it, great. If you don't,
because if you
if
try,
you don't go,
your team's going to get blown up anyways.
Yeah, it's because as we've mentioned, the players can jump into this little highway out here on the outer snake and crawl the whole way without really truly being stopped unless you're in that You're either in the snake or
passing lane. I've trademarked it. Come
passing
on, Jen.
Hey, listen, I was using your terminology, but then Nicole came in and called it the highway, so I was having to do a little switcheroo.
Yeah, Nicole. So I make $1 every time somebody calls it a passing lane. I trademarked it for the event.
Passing lane.
Yeah, please. Thank you. I'm going to be hitchhiking back to New Hampshire if I don't make some money down here.
I love it. All right, so that was a quick one. We still got 3 minutes and 37 seconds on the clock, tied 3-3. And I was talking, highly about Noobies, but Nasty is another team that has also been in the top. I believe at World Cup last year they were the fourth place team, if I remember. At least it was either the event or in the series. So Nasty is also one of those teams that has been around in semi-pro, for a while and has had some success. So they are not totally unfamiliar with, what it's like playing deep into Sunday in semi-pro and, kind of showing that grit here.
This is a big game between two of the heavyweights in this division.
Absolutely. And they're not super local, Nasty out of kind of like the Maryland-ish in our paintball out of Severn, Maryland area. And then Newbie's going to be out of like New Jersey. I think they play out of Quick Shot or Long Lake or one of those New Jersey fields. So this is kind of a home event for them. So, I'm sure that they want this one.
Crank up the pressure on them. Well done. Yeah.
Hey, I love it. Hey, listen, I would happily take a hometown event. If we can bring something back to like North Carolina, Virginia, like I'd love that.
Dude,
Can we move?
It only gets hotter the further south we go.
That's true. I'll give you that.
Please don't.
I'll give you that.
All right. Maybe an early jump over there on Nasty, but not called for it. I could be wrong.
Yep. And I tell you what, this snake player here. Okay,
snake player getting a pull.
I was about to say this fella has been in the snake like nobody's business this match. He's kind of been, up in the 50 snake 2 a lot. So I'm not surprised that Noobies did decide to try to key up on him. So Noobies were the first to make it here into the snake 50.
Nasty tries to refill the snake, but immediately runs into the gun of the Noobie player. Does not work. They're going to refill that snake corner, though. Oh, okay. Nasty's in a whole bunch of trouble. Noobie player's going to decide to go launch. Gets one clean kill. Maybe the home. Nope. That's a fine trade.
And the best thing about this is now he's got his back snake player filling in right where he left off. So the first snake, okay, well, right as I say that, Noobies does receive a minor penalty, which I believe.
It might leave the snake player all alone over here. Shoemaker.
No, there's two. Okay, we're in a 2-on-2.
Okay.
Noobies have the Dorito 2 and the snake 50, and Nasty has the Dorito 2 and the Dorito can. So this.
Nasty's getting checked, but called alive over there in the D2.
So this snake player here for Noobies, that's going to be Shoemaker, or someone wearing Shoemaker's jersey. I'm not 100% sure. He does have the side to himself.
There's a launch by Noobies over there on the Dorito side, but I don't think it works.
Yep, you're right. It didn't. So
it's 1-on-2.
I think that's Kurtz who tried to make the jump for.
Shoemaker should drop back. This is not the place to fight a 2-on-1.
Yeah, because as soon as that Dorito 2 player, and he does exactly what you said, Matt.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's a tough situation for I believe that was Kurtz for Noobies on the Dorito side. It was a 2-on-2, and in his defense, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, it's probably because I'm a Dorito player, but
to be fair,
sometimes you can't. Okay, well, as I say that, Shoemaker does get the front Dorito player, so it is going to be leaving Shoemaker and I believe John Adkins in a 1-on-1. That's going to be Adkins and Dorito 1 for Nasty and Shoemaker here in the Snake 50. But what I was going to say is, when you're playing the Dorito side, you can't always see the bodies come off because we're over here on the pit side, which is the snake side. So maybe Kurtz didn't know, the situation, and it's, you can't fault him too much.
And he did it. Shoemaker takes the Dorito. He's going to run it in.
Yep, yeah, I recognize his run. I'm pretty good at telling people's body language. So incredible point there by Shoemaker.
Well done. So Noobies are going to go 4-3. We're only going to have 1:23 left on the clock. Noobies just got to lock it down.
Yeah, that was an absolutely clutch point there by Noobies. That's.
So if I'm trying to lock this field down, I got to be honest. I know this sounds the opposite of locking it down. I'm going to send a player to the snake.
Yeah.
So I even though if I'm the Noobies, I'm trying to bleed the clock. I've got to get a player in the snake because if you don't check that somehow, and I know you can put a guy into the snake corner, but it's a far better check if you can get somebody into the snake.
Yep.
So even if he doesn't, win or do anything, if he can just hold up the snake player for Nasty, make the Nasty player uncomfortable, and not feel like he can do whatever, that's a win. That's good for at least 20 or 30 seconds off the clock.
That, and also you can actually take the snake one, so the first little juice box here on the inner snake, and you can actually look cross from there. And you can see the Dorito gaps pretty well. So a lot of times you'll see people go there, hold the D-way for a bit, waiting for that, that press. Meanwhile, you do send that snake corner, let him apply pressure here to the snake for long enough, and then immediately after, 20, 30 seconds, your snake one goes heads up, we're second into the snake. So sometimes it's better to allow the other team to take the ground first. And I know it's a kind of a different scenario here because they don't have that much time, but generally speaking, it's not always best to be the first person to a spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes you can set traps. You know, there's different strategies involved. But I think you're right in this situation where there is 1 minute and 23 seconds left on the clock. You know, you're up by 1, so you don't want to go 2-pocket because the moment you lose somebody off the break, now you're in a tough spot. Looks like we've got DeVivo, we've got Ryan Rodriguez, Hunter, Kurtz is coming back out. I missed the last one.
So the good news for Nasty is that with about a minute and a half on the clock, they're not in desperation mode where they have to send bodies foolishly up the middle. They can play it a little bit slower. They don't have to be absolutely stupid about it.
Absolutely.
But once the breakout happens, they better start making their secondaries. They better start bumping and pushing things. They cannot afford to sit.
Yep, and again, it goes back to, you know, in a play like this, if you're Nasty, how much do you try to capitalize on getting the kills off the break? Okay, interesting play. So Nasty's going to go, oof.
He's going to go right through the middle. I don't think it's successful, but
However,
I'm fine. Oh, no, he peels the body with him.
He takes one.
Yep. There's another newbie walking off on the far side.
That's what I was going to say. Nasty did shoot Noobies, Dorito player, off the break.
Nasty's all the way to the corner.
So
that's going to be a clean win.
Crossover here, guys. I don't know if you guys can see. Yep,
it's not going to matter.
So Nasty's going to keep crawling.
No, I think the newbie player might have gotten shot by his own team.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry,
okay.
Nasty. No, my bad.
Nasty is standing on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, guys. A lot just happened there. A lot quickly happened. So Nasty decided off the break to take Newbie's center brick off the break.
So is it possible that what the real plan was is you send a guy through the middle not to win, but to draw the guns and allow your player going up the Dorito side, no attention on him?
Sure.
Because that's what just happened, whether it was the plan or not.
Well, think about it, too. You know, if you're the center player for Newbies and you find out there's a guy in your brick, your instinct sometimes is to go get him. So, you know, and I'm not saying that is a right or not right in that scenario, but it's definitely one of those things that makes you jump a little bit. And so I think in that situation, you know, luckily it did work. I believe that was Cunningham who went to the Newbies brick there. But not only did they, you know, do that play, but they also got the kill off the break on the Dorito side for Newbies too, which I think was also critical because it freed up, you know, the Dorito player for Nasty to come flying down that way. But my point is if you take their brick and your center player goes to get them, your center player is that Dorito hold. So now as soon as you know, you got them both off the field, your Dorito side's kind of free to go. And
your coach can hand out shooting assignments. You know, you do this, you cover this.
Yep.
But, dude, once you find out that there's somebody on your side of the field, all those assignments kind of go out the window in
especially when
mode.
You know that you're up by 1, you're doing your best to hold. You know, it's like, I got to go get rid of this guy before he secretly takes some of my teammates.
Blows everything up. Wow. So Nasty brings it back 4-4. Now there's really not a lot of time on the clock. You got 52 seconds left. You, on one hand, you might say, "Hey, screw it, let's just go for it and try for the win instead of playing for overtime." However, if you go for the win, you of course raise your risk of something called a red flag, and under 60, that's an automatic loss of point.
Absolutely.
So I don't know which do you do? Do you go for it, or do you tell you guys just avoid penalties?
You know, you definitely do not want to get a penalty. So I think that's the precedent you set. But typically, like I was talking with Bart earlier on our previous matches, you kind of have a plan A and a plan B. Plan A is you get the kills off the break. 54 seconds is plenty, right? So you need to, that's where, at practice you work on closing drills. You work on closing 5-on-2s, 5-on-4s, 5-on-3s, so on and so forth. If you don't kill anybody off the break and you lose bodies off the break, you're doing your best to hold it together.
All right, here we go. Nasty with a relatively conservative breakout, not taking huge risks.
Newbies, it looks like they kind of took a very similar breakout.
5 alive for both teams. Newbies are into the snake, though. Now, so is Nasty.
Mirrored up, snake 1. Okay, Nasty's going to be the first to kind of move forward.
Yep.
Newbies are going to fill that snake corner, that critical snake corner spot. Big move there from the Dorito player for Nasty. He goes from the Dorito tower into the outer Dorito 2. So Nasty kind of giving the inclination that they are going to try to push for this. First kill is going to be coming out of the center for Newbies, and Nasty lost their front Dorito, so it's going to be a 4-on-4.
Nasty snake player looking over at the board to see the time.
Yep.
Frankly, I think they're running out of time.
And at this point is when you certainly do not want to draw penalties. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So right here, you
want
to just get out. Yep,
there
you go.
Don't
you
even
do
try
not
to
even
play.
Want to try.
Yep.
All right, so we got another exciting one. We're going to overtime. Yep. So for those familiar, this is I believe the first year that semi-pro has been playing overtime points in prelims.
Yep.
It used to be, you could end a game in a tie. However, I think that, they were seeing a lot of ties in semi-pro, and for the sake of, the bracketing and moving on to Sunday, they went ahead and implemented overtime points here in semi-pro. So this one will be headed to a 5-minute overtime point where it is winner take all. 5-on-5.
And how much are we charging the viewers for overtime games?
I don't know,
Matt.
Matt.
Much money off that?
I don't know. We got to look into that.
We need to monetize everything here.
And then if this 5-on-5, 5-minute point, goes to a stalemate, the teams will be sending out one player to represent them for a one-on-one. Now, most viewers love one-on-ones. How do you feel about one-on-ones, Matt? As overtime, just to be clear.
I mean, it's good. It's good watching, right? Of course,
Sure.
for the viewers at home. But I got to be honest, it doesn't. To me, it doesn't really represent how much of a team sport this is. At some point, you've got to cut this game down. You can't have overtime after overtime after overtime. I get it from a basic logistical reason. It makes sense, but I like the team sport more.
I agree. We're here in the pits with Noobies on your screen. It looks like everybody's pretty calm and composed, which is certainly good in a moment like this.
Despite the name Noobies, they're actually pretty veteran.
Right?
This is
absolutely.
not scary territory for them.
That is a veteran squad. So it looks like we're going to have Shoemaker, Rodriguez, DeVivo. For Nasty, we're going to have I was about to say Nasty. Let's see. For Nasty, we're going to have Nasty.
This is true.
The names on their jerseys are so small. Okay, I see Aruda. I see Austin Aruda. That's all I can see. It looks like Cunningham.
So Anthony Vitale and I complain about this all the time. If you're in charge of making jerseys for your team, please don't make the name the same color as the jersey, and B, make the name big. Please.
All right, so the other player was Maddie Karpinski for Noobies here on the box. Shout out to our cameraman out there doing the hard work.
This is a static camera. There's nobody there.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name of this center player for Noobies that just snuck off screen.
Jen just shouted out her cameraman. That's a pole stuck in the ground.
Hey, no, I don't mean him necessarily. I don't necessarily mean our camera poles, but, all of our hardworking camera crew and behind-the-scenes crew here.
True.
Wow.
Nasty doubles up at home,
Rough
however,
break.
loses both of their players.
Yeah, so we're going to have 2 kills coming off the field.
Immediately down to a 5-on-3. That is worst-case scenario.
Absolutely.
So not only did they not get any kills, but they lost 2 of their bodies and didn't take territory. That is as bad as it can get.
Absolutely. And that's one of those things where, you can try to...
Oh, no.
And the snake's going to drop for...
Yeah, this is falling apart for Nasty.
Yep.
No toweling in this
Newbie
situation.
staying composed. Going to need to close this one out. Both players left for Nasty are on the Dorito side, which means the snake is totally open for the Noobies player, who is currently sitting in the snake 50.
He can just keep going. He can just drop and keep crawling. Crawl all the way to the end.
So we got DeVivo hunting up the center, trying to recognize the bodies that have walked off and where they can press from in order to close this out. But certainly, you've got 4 minutes to work with. We do not need to rush.
No.
You don't want any unnecessary gunfights, anything like that.
Drop and crawl, drop and crawl, drop and crawl. Ref checks the Dorito side can for Nasty.
And he's going to go forward.
Yes, he does. Probably to a better, safer bunker, to be
I
really
agree
honest.
with that. Typically, you do not want to be in cans in a situation like this. So Aruda does move from the Dorito corner into the Dorito 1 to try to get a decent cross here with his Dorito, back Dorito player. But Shoemaker here standing over the Snake 50, just wheeling and dealing over top of this bunker.
Newbies are starting to go what I call wolf pack mode, where the players all just smell blood in the water, and they're just going.
All right, so here he goes.
Yeah, double movement down the snake.
And he's going to crawl all the way down.
Yeah.
To Nasty's. Big Phil here.
He knew it. He knew what was happening.
But
He's going to make a counter move.
Hey, I like the effort.
He trades. That's not a trade you want to make when you're down 5 to 2 bodies. But on the other hand, if he made it to that corner, the game's all over.
And that was actually Ryan, who was on the Dorito side looking snake way, who caught that guy trying to make that desperation fill, because DeVivo was looking at the last remaining bodies. Our 2 snake players were crawling head down looking for those last remaining bodies. So, Ryan having his head up, recognizing that guy trying to fill out snake way. Because that fill's coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That fill's coming.
Yeah, against this level of team. All right, well, that is going to wrap up that match. Jen, parting words of wisdom?
Gosh, parting words of hey, fill the snake corner. No, I'm kidding.
That has been your theme.
If you get to the outside of the highway, passing lane, crawl. That's my wide. No, I'm kidding.
Did you hear that? Kidding. Passing lane? That's $1 in my pocket. Trademark.
No, it's been a great time. Thank you guys for having me. Hope to be back later this weekend.
Yeah, we're going to see you tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'll be here. Anytime I can be here, Matt. I'll come visit you.
That would be great. Somebody needs to cover up from all my faults in the booth.
I don't know about that. Congrats to Noobies. I honestly forgot who the other match even was at this point. Feel like it's been so long.
They were great.
They were. They were great. No, I'm kidding. Seriously, thanks for having me, Matt. And, we'll be in touch.
Anytime. And we will take a short break, and we'll come back to the next match. Thank you so much.